checking in. How you living? How you feel? Happy Mother's Day, you guys. I'm so excited. First of all, I want to say thank you for taking your time out to be with me on this amazing Sunday. You could be anywhere, but you're here with me, right? Right. Okay, we just checking in, okay? So let me just double check, make sure everything looks good. Y'all know we gotta check, make sure everything's straight, because today is a good, today, every day is a good day, but today, but this series is special. I see it. So, you guys, first of all, my genuine, most sincere, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. There's different types of mothers, you guys, even without being the mother, okay? Hey, if you are standing in the gap for someone, you are helping someone, encouraging them, I could say big sister, big aunt, however it may be, you are appreciated, okay? Period, point blank in the story. You are appreciated, okay? So I am CEO of Second Chance 21013. You guys, this is Real Talk with 10. This is a mini series called Grateful Now, just to give some nuggets and things like that. And today, you guys, I have an amazing guest that's going to come on. She's an amazing woman that I have gotten to know. All I can say is it's a wow energy, okay? And knowing her story, I feel like today, it's definitely a story that needs to be shared, because along with the mothers who have, y'all could go out today and have lunch, go to a movie, go to dinner and all that stuff like that. We need to share all spectrums of what being a mother is. So I wanted to share today with you, introduce to you none other than my amazing guest, who I have gotten to know through a community of women, okay? Girl Hold My Hand community. I got to give credit to that, because that is definitely how I was able to meet her, okay? And since then, we have been able to vibe, and I'm just grateful. So let me go ahead and bring her on, okay? This is Miss Kimberly Tocco, who is absolutely inspirational, okay? She is a mother, she is an author, she is a real estate agent. First of all, she's the bomb. She's fire, you guys. She's so much fire. Her thing is her tenacious angels, okay? And I love this definition. It's a person of exemplary conduct of virtue in a leather jacket. So
Yes,
I love
ma'am.
that. So
Yes, ma'am.
tell us about yourself, where you from.
Well, first off, thank you for bringing me on Mother's Day, because you're absolutely right. The story that I will tell needs to be told for those mothers that are missing a child today. And God, where am I from? I was born in Utah, but lucky me, my dad came down to Scottsdale, Arizona on a business trip in 1983. And while he was at his meeting, my mother bought a house. And we have lived here ever since. So,
Awesome.
yeah, I'm from Scottsdale, Arizona for the most part.
Okay.
And, here's the thing. There are many levels of, like you said, being a mother. There's those people that step up, but then there's the mothers that have lost, right? And I include even, there's the miscarriages. And let me just tell you a little bit about my son, Jason. It was a random Tuesday morning 12 years ago. Mother of 4 sons, by the way, mother of dragons. And, my twins were 3. My oldest is 14. Jason's 13. And that morning, I just, I got up. I was like the goddess that morning. I didn't shower, but I got up early. I got the twins fed, and I'm ready for these teenagers to come downstairs. And I'm making this amazing breakfast, because I'm the domestic goddess for like 5 minutes. Because, when you've got all these kids, it's hard to do that. And, very typical. They come downstairs, they're complaining, but they didn't want these organic breakfast sandwiches. But Jason, 13 years old, 6'1", could pitch at 80 miles an hour. Straight A student, most popular kid in school. Like, he was the one, right? We were like, wow, we produced something special there. He's going to make it all the way. Never showed signs of anything but just this happy kid. We got into an argument over breakfast, and his dad had to leave for a union meeting. And he said, "Hey, Jason, you need to go upstairs. I'll be back because you can't go to school like this." Jason was just off that day. I'd never seen him like this. And, he just looked at me and he said, "I hate you." And that had never been said in our family. But at the time, you got it. This is what's important. As a parent, we're like, oh, it's a teenager. He's just doing his thing. And I'm like, yeah, well, I hate you too. Go upstairs. Because we don't think that our children have very serious crisis moments, especially when they're not sharing anything. We kind of, we think as parents, God, this is so hard being a parent. I'm struggling being a parent. But have we thought, like, aren't they struggling too? And these are the things that we forget. And shortly later, Jason had gone upstairs and he had shot himself. I found him and he ended up dying in my arms. And his birthday following was actually on a Mother's Day. He was born on a Mother's Day weekend. And this is the part that I think needs to be heard, because you're still a mother to that child. That child just lives in heaven. That child is at a place that is just not as reachable, but you're still their mother. And no matter how long you were that mother, you will forever be a mother that will never be taken from you. And that is the point of being able to talk about your child, especially on Mother's Day. And that was the other thing that, when people would ask me about my son, they really didn't want to hear about it. But we as mothers don't want people to forget our child. So if you have a friend, call them up and say, "Hey, it's Mother's Day. Tell me a little bit about your child. Tell me what it was like when you were able to hold your baby or be a mother for that, whatever time that was." And this is why I thank you for bringing me on today, because no one can take that title from you.
Wow. And, like you said, a phone call. And I think, I was recently looking at someone, a young lady who lost her daughter. And, the conversation was like, you didn't call, you didn't send flowers, nothing. And her response was, well, I didn't know what to say. Well, when you don't know what to say, send a flower, a card. It's a gesture. It's the thought, it's just the fact that, because whether you say something or don't, it's going to be remembered. So I get it. That title is forever, even if it is, like you said, a miscarriage. It's still, the womb remembers, right? It's going to remember that feeling. It's still the energy doesn't go away, right? It's just transferred. So it's still remembered. So I get it. And my heart goes out to anyone who's lost a child. And I'm grateful for those who fostered children. Okay.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
How many kids' lives, first, thank you to maybe a young mother who knew she couldn't handle it and did the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Like, let's take our visionary. Her first baby, she was 15 years old, and she knew that she wasn't going to be able to be there for that child the way that she needed to be there. And "Mama, I need you to help me." And she ended up raising that boy, because at the time Stormy couldn't do it. That's true love for your child. Like the story of, King Solomon in the Bible, there was two women fighting over the one baby. And in order to get the real mother to come out, he said, "Okay, I'm going to cut the baby in half." And the one woman said, "Okay, go ahead and do that." But the real mother said, No, give her the baby. Because it's all about how much you love that child and what's best for that child. So absolutely.
So acknowledging that. Now, in the book, there were some things I wanted to kind of, I like to give nuggets. I noticed how your book goes. It's kind of like nuggets in itself. And this is Grateful Now. So I love the part that you give the memoir. You talk about the memoir, but then you said, well, as of today, as though like, as I'm writing this, as of today, this is how I'm dealing with it now. And so even though you lost your son, you have, it was 4 boys. It's 4, right? It was 4?
Correct.
Okay. So you still have your 3 So in the gratitude of now, you know, dealing with the loss, you have your family, you know, and everything. How do you show that gratitude in the now in the midst of his loss 12 years later? What do you do now to kind of pull it
Sure.
in?
So, you know, the book, interestingly enough, you're right, that first year following my son's death, I wasn't a career woman. Again, I was a stay-at-home mom, but I always had been a writer. So I blogged under a pseudonym. I didn't even want people to know it was me writing it, because the wild, crazy thoughts. And I was blogging it. And when I wrote the book, it was 8 years later, I pick certain blogs from that first year and explain how I got through it as the healed woman, right? The first and foremost thing you need to do is understand that your body, your cells remembers the pain of that day you've lost your child. So no matter how mentally prepared you are for that day, you know, you can sit there and say, okay, I'm going to, you know, on Mother's Day and those anniversary dates and those holidays, I'm gonna plan something special. I'm gonna make sure it's a great day, because that's what we should do. But the cells of the body sometimes regurgitate the pain. And you have to be prepared that, you know what, you may break down and cry no matter how perfect you plan that day. And you need to allow that to come out. So be gentle with yourself on those days.
With yourself.
Be gentle with yourself, and because you're gonna have moments that are just gonna come up. That's normal, that's natural. Eventually that all of that energy will be expelled, but it takes time. 12 years later, it takes time. So that's first and foremost. If I need to cancel everything, I cancel everything. That's totally fine. I'm going to do me, 100% me. And for the fathers that have lost a child, sometimes there's this like little competition that, you know, I loved the child as much as she loved the child. And it's not a question of that. Mothers will grieve very, very differently than the fathers. And fathers, you need to allow her to be what she needs to be in that moment. Because you got to remember, we felt everything from the moment they started moving in our bellies to the second they took that breath. We felt every second of that, and they felt us. So there's a little bit deeper level, and just allow her to be crazy that day if she has to be. And the other kids, they're what keep you going, you know, they are. And if you can help with fostering, if you can reach out to your friends' kids, you know, do that on that day. If that's what you need. For the first year, I surrounded myself with all of my friends' kids. It was crazy.
I babysit when my best friend, her kids were younger. I used to babysit them. So yeah. And by the way, so the name of the book is called Overcome Memoirs of a Suicide.
Yeah.
So you all make sure that you look for that on Amazon. I was able to get the digital copy, you guys. Either way, just get a copy and support, because you know everybody knows a woman that's been a mother, or it's some type of capacity, child or not, whether they babysat, fostered, some type of way they've helped your kids. If y'all are close, they've helped in some type of way. You know, I would dare even say, hey, the teachers, okay, because for 8 hours the teachers got your kids, okay.
Yeah.
And the majority of the teachers are women. I'm substitute teaching myself, but yes, ma'am.
And book 2 will be launching the end of this summer. It's called Tenacious Angels, and it's actually the sequel to this book, because this book launched right when COVID hit, and luckily did hit #1. Thank you. But there's been quite the journey since then, especially into healing and grief. So book 2 is really metaphysical and out there. It's a little crazy.
Okay, so be on the lookout for that. So she has a podcast as well.
Yes, it's called Tenacious Thoughts. And if you want to see everything that I do, just go to kimt360.com. It's a link to everything I do. I'm a producer, a metaphysical real estate agent. I'm a metaphysical healer, medium, and psychic. You know, sometimes when I say that, people get a little, but it's very aimed at helping people find purpose and pull out that negative energy that I just talked about. I learned the techniques in order to really uproot, uplift, and pull it out in 3 days. So it's
I
quite
may
the
have to,
experience.
I may have to bring you. So what I'm going to say is, I grew up in the church. We may have to do a podcast. So I do. So this is a mini series in between, but I like to the regular show. I bring on people because I like to know what people are doing that may be different. So maybe it's just like I mean we're in the health and wellness industry. The
Yeah.
stigma on CBD, right? And
Yeah,
it's really good.
absolutely.
So maybe one day we might need to have a conversation about
Oh,
psychic and
yes.
it really break that down. So
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
old,
Oh, yeah.
maybe it's an old stigma like black cats. I black cats, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like something
Oh,
that
yeah.
simple.
I can take you
So
all through, it's all energy. I can debunk a lot of that stuff.
right. So, we
For
might have to
sure.
talk about that. But I've gotten a chance to talk to you. I've gotten a chance to meet you. I absolutely love your energy. I love the power. Like just watching you is like, man, like who is
Aw,
she? Like
thank
I
you.
gotta
You're so
know who
sweet.
she is, So I'm grateful. You guys make sure you do follow her. The website, and I'm looking here.
It's
Kim, that's Kim.
KIM360.
Okay.
KIMT is in tenacious 360.com. And yeah, real quick, if we've got a few more moments, I will talk a little bit about, especially moms that feel like that they can't move forward or they can't, jump into a career, or what do they do with this grief? And I often say that grief is just love with no place to go. So you've got to find a way to capture that love and the anger and the other things that come out too, and create something with it. Because you are at your most powerful, and you know this, Jen, when you can tap into your emotions, when you can tap into passion. And it was 2 years after we had lost Jason. And, my husband at the time was having to work 2 jobs and carry, me and the 3 other kids. And I just couldn't bring myself to work, but I knew that I needed to change the circumstances of living in this dank rental. And, that's part of it too. Where you live is huge. You need natural light, you need positive energy. And that's why we talk about getting together every single morning with Girl Hold My Hand, the positive energy. So I was able to qualify us on an extenuating circumstance loan that forgave our short sale, that forgave our bankruptcy because of the extreme circumstances of our loss. And I couldn't find a real estate agent to help me. I couldn't find one to help me because they were too worried that they would take this broken family down the line of purchasing a home, and at the end, not fully being able to close on that home because no one had done a closed extenuating circumstance loan. It was kind of like the myth loan, right? But nobody had actually done it. So I had to put myself through real estate school in 18 days. And I got my license. And within a month and a half, we closed on a home. I was able to convince the seller to give us a shot and that I could get it closed. But what changed for me in that moment, and this is for, again, the moms out there, I am a girl with a GED. I've had every single type of job you could imagine. And I never thought that I could be successful at something like this that seemed like a really prestigious, right, career. But when I gave those keys to my husband, you could see he had his foundation again. You could see that man had something that he could give his family that was safe and that was his to give them, rather than being in a rental. And that was it for me. And I am telling you, in a decade, I've been on HGTV. I'm $1 million producer. I've been able to be part of You Girls with Girl Hold My Hand. I'm a golden ticket winner on stages, a #1 bestseller. I have a podcast. Nothing can stop you when you use that grief and turn it into purpose. And that's what I teach, and I'm testimony of that. And this is something we all need to come together on and support each other with.
Wow. I have always said mothers got some type of extra, like, I don't know what happened during those 9 months because I don't have kids, but like I got an extra boost of something because y'all go. Yeah, it's like Coach Storm, it's totally different.
Yeah.
My cousin, like my best friend, like something I said, Lord, can you give me that without the kid? You know, I haven't been married yet to do all that. Okay, but y'all have a different type of willpower that I never seen. It's like I gotta feed my babies.
Yeah.
Like I gotta
No,
provide a roof over their head. You know?
it awakens. Like I never thought, and this is a terrible thing to say, but I never thought that I would be able to hurt someone, like really hurt them. But when I think of someone hurting my kids, oh man, there's a knife,
right? The leather jacket comes on, like,
there's a knife involved for sure. Yes. I mean,
oh my
I'm
God.
telling you, like, and I never was that way until I had kids.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Sure.
I'm telling you, look, whatever that send me, I need some tenaciousness.
Right.
But I love it. So thank you again for coming on and sharing. And as usual, my prayer is always that, you know, we change our lives one testimony at a time, you know, because we got to share. It's not for us to hold. And I can only imagine that first year. It's God can't get the glory if we don't share it. So it's not a testimony that's left untold. When we tell it, oh my God, it just, He's able to use it and expand. My prayer since the age of 13 has been the prayer of Jabez to expand my territory. And so when you share the testimony, you don't know how far it can reach, who it can reach, who would need it. And whether they say something to you and they acknowledge it or not, because some people don't know how to deal with that. Like they trying to figure it out. So they may never say anything, but true believe if it's only the one, what God say about that one sheep? Okay, He going after it.
You only need to reach one.
Okay,
it has a ripple effect.
He going after that one sheep. So if we can only change lives, just that one testimony at a time, it's gonna spread. It's gonna go. So thank you for what you do with your podcast. Thank you for being brave enough to share your story because you got a breakthrough that y'all you gotta read look at the book and you gotta read through how she put it. She's literally giving you the keys of healing for real. Like
I'm so glad you picked up on that.
You know,
that's exactly how I wrote it, is to take them on a journey. And I did do it in audio as well. I recorded it myself and uploaded it. So it is on audio as well. It's very emotional to listen to, but that's the point of it because I wanted to be the mother voice sharing it. So if you want to listen to it, it's on audio as well.
Wow. And I listen to audiobooks all the time because I'm always on the go. So definitely you guys make sure you check that out. But thank you again. Please continue to do what you do. I know you've done some women expos in Arizona. You travel and speak, you guys. So make sure you book her for a guest for a speaking engagement. I know you gotta go. You said you gotta go. So
I got some yoga going on. I love you, love you, love you. Thank you, and I just enjoy you so much too.
Have an amazing Mother's Day. Bye-bye. Wow, you guys. Wow, just I don't have children, but you know, I'm in the schools and I've always loved kids. I've always dealt with kids, so I get it, you know, to the capacity that I can get it. And so I'm so grateful that she was able to come on and share today. And make sure you let her know, you guys, hey, if the story touched you, helped you, say something, support, purchase the book, tap into the podcast. Did y'all hear what she said about the 13 days of learning or 18 days of learning real estate though? Like we gotta have that type of conversation too, okay? We gotta have that conversation. Like, what did you do to learn yoga, real estate in a couple of days, okay? So, but you guys, thank you all today for tuning in to Real Talk with Jen, the mini-series, the Grateful Now mini-series, you guys. You know, change your lives one testimony at a time. That is always my prayer as I do this, as I come to you and you allow me into your home, your phone, your TV, whatever method that you are watching this from. You know, so, you know, I myself, you know, help people. If you're you're not sure how to get out your emotions, your thought process, I do have my journal, Love Yourself, self-love journal, you guys. This is a great way to start with expressing yourself out loud, okay? If you don't have the voice to say what you need to say, you guys, getting in the mirror is an amazing way to start voicing talk, have a self-talk, right? Have a self-talk and express yourself, talk to God, prayer, meditate. As she said in our community, we pray, well, we meditate, which is listening to God. So I pray in the first thing in the morning, and I meditate, and that's an opportunity for God to talk back to me. In the silence, or with guided meditation is what we do in the group, guided meditation, you guys. So this is an opportunity, to express yourself out loud, written, and hopefully give you the opportunity to express yourself verbally, because our voice is important. Okay, it could be life changing. Okay, so make sure you get with me. Get in your journal. I do also have a book coming out called She Owned Her Story, which is what Miss Tocco has done. Okay, she owned her story, and look what her story has done for her by sharing it. So you can pre-order this book today. Okay, the link will be in the description. Okay, she owned the story. So it's a collaborative book. There is opportunities in the book with your pre-order. Just make sure you get with me about that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Remember, as I said, okay, it's not a testimony if left untold. Whatever he gave you, yes, there is timing, but don't hold it to the grave. He gave you the testimony. He got you through it for a reason, so he can get the blessing, okay, the honor and the glory from your testimony, and so that you can also benefit and reap the harvest for whatever you went through to get there. Okay, you survived, now you thrive. Okay, so we are changing lives one testimony at a time. Appreciate you. See you next time.
She got a big mic and know how to use it. She got a big mic and know how to use it. She got a big mic and know how to use it. She got a big mic and know how to use it.
Yeah, yeah.